Hello everybody, and welcome. My name is Eric Bird. I'm your host here at StopStrugglingNow.com. And today I'm running around town looking for executive offices. Why? We're going to start incorporating, doing an LLC, Stop Struggling Now, media, things of that nature. So as you can see in the background, here's one right here. Premier Executive Suites. But what I'm doing is after I've checked around on the internet, it looks like Opus is going to be the one because they have everything. We're going to talk about it. This goes along with the LLC, business credit. So stay tuned. Please like, subscribe, and click the bell below so you get the latest updates. Now, let's get to it. Welcome back. All right. Thank you for joining us. We're talking about virtual offices today. Let me get you into the cons. For instance, I guess I should go over everything that comes with it, but the main thing that comes with it is a company phone number and a company fax number. As you can see here. The only problem is if these guys go out of business or no longer available, you do not own the company phone number or the company fax number. All right? That's something to consider. I mean, I'm not saying people are going to go out of business, but the point is that is one of the downfalls. If you ever need to move or want to change your office location instead of using a virtual office, the phone number would have to be changed potentially. I'm sure you can rent the phone numbers from Opus virtual offices. Now, if you saw a previous video, you noticed that I was in front of one of their virtual offices in Fort Myers, Florida. They have offices all over the country and in other parts of the world as well. And you can just click on your map. I'm sure you're in one of these states or cities and or islands, and you can take advantage. The reasons people use virtual offices are many, but the one for our purposes is that since we're trying to stop struggling now, and most people want to create a business, and then of course what's the next step? Everybody wants to have funding, just like in a real estate deal. All the gurus tell you can buy real estate for no money down or whatever story they want to come up with, but the bottom line is if you want to do anything on a significant scale, you're going to need funding. And that's the secret. So, with a virtual office, that gives you the illusion that you actually have an office in a corporate or in a structured environment where if somebody's looking at your company, they say, okay, they're zoned in a commercial zone. It looks like an official business, versus if they run Google Maps and they see that you're sitting at your house, they're going, well, how serious can this business be? So do not use UPS mailboxes. Try to avoid the postal mailboxes these days, because if you're going to end up trying to get business funding or business credit, they would rather you have a corporate commercial location. So that's why people think of virtual offices first. Also, when you have to go for a real office, you have to get the phone service set up, get the internet service set up, get the office furniture, and plus you're going to be paying a monthly fee. As you can see here on the screen, $99 for Opus virtual offices is a steal. Sure, there's other virtual office companies around, but if you're talking about the ones everybody talks about, Alliance and Regis, you'll be, just for these first 2 or 3 items, you're going to be spending probably a couple of $100. And so let's get on with it. I recommend Opus virtual offices, and as you can see, somebody would answer your phone. Hello, this is ABC Corporation or LLC. Thank you for calling. Corporate mailing address. It's going to be in a commercially zoned location and an actual location where there's a building, and you have the ability to go in and use an office space in that building most often. And we talked about it. You get a company phone number, you get more important, a company fax number. Company phone number is fine. The company fax number, whenever there's a fax that comes in, is converted to email, as you can see coming down here next. You get 2 voicemail boxes, so when the lady receptionist answers, she can transfer you to your phone number, which we'll get into. There's VoIPs, which you can change, like Grasshopper, things like that. And you want to get where now when you call back from your cell phone, it's your company number. You can be anywhere in the world. All right? Pretty simple. Faxes are also converted to email, so you can get that in the PDF format. And premium call transferring is what I was referring to before, or call forwarding. And you get all of this for one price per month, $99 per month, to look like you are a business. This is the pros. Everything listed there are the pros. Now you're set up as a business. Now you go down to your bank. You use the virtual office address. Now when you apply for business credit, you use the virtual office address. You do not look like you're a fly-by-night at your house. Now, there's no, I got internet problems. There's no problem with having a virtual office set up like this. Like I said, one of the drawbacks is the actual phone number. One thing to consider when you're starting out, I did a previous video on LLCs. And what most people don't talk about with LLCs is this corporate veil. Meaning that if something happens at your place of business or your service business or whatever business, and somebody wants to sue you, then they say, oh, most people think I have an LLC, it's just a separate company. Well, in almost every state, I'm talking about 47 out of 50, the courts would grant a corporate veil for an LLC, and especially if it looks like you're commingling funds, meaning you're taking money out, paying, using a check, using a debit card, using a business credit card to pay for your personal lifestyle. No, you need to pay out yourself first, and then you can use the money, but that's being separate. I didn't really want to get into that because this is a virtual office set up for today. But I have to mention this because even if you have a virtual office, let's say it in Florida, this might as well be Florida. This might as well be Alabama, Tennessee, Mississippi, Alabama, California, Washington. It does not almost matter. Other than Nevada, Wyoming, and Delaware, those are the 3 states where they protect the LLC and corporations. Every other state, you're going to have to write in your operating agreement or your articles of incorporation. You're going to have to set up what you should do, a holding company. So therefore, you actually have a company that's an LLC. It's going to cost you a little bit of money, but hey, if you want to make money, you got to spend money a little bit, and you have to set yourself up right. It's not so much as, you're trying to save money. What you're trying to do is down the road, everybody starts out planning on making money. What happens though is some people don't plan to make a lot of money. So you're thinking, I'll make $50,000. This will just be an extra little side hustle gig I'm doing. Next thing you know, you done made $500 to $1 million. Next thing you know, you're a target. And from that point on, somebody could say I slipped and fell or cut me or did whatever, sue you, and in all these states, except for the 3 I mentioned, you would be liable personally as well. They can go through your corporate veil and they'll say, okay, you're just a single member LLC. Obviously you're not set up for a real corporation, so we're going to let them be able to sue you personally. And those are the things where people go out of business and you wonder what happened to people. It's because of these little $15,000, $30,000, $50,000 lawsuits, and then you have to get an attorney, which does not cost $500. They usually want a few thousand themselves. Next thing you know, you just have to start worrying about your own personal assets that you have. So just keep all of this in mind when you're setting yourself up from the get-go. Those are the kind of things you need to do. And the same thing goes with when you're setting up members. you want to put in your articles of incorporation or your operating agreement. You want to set everything up. You want to make sure you have, if you have shares, your time, energy, intellectual property, anything that you have brought in, whether it's assets or whatever, needs to be addressed in there, and it needs to be addressed so it's a business, funded, and that's what you want to do. And actually, this ends up being an LLC type conversation, but if you don't want your personal assets to be a liability, and let's say you stay in any of the other 47 states, you're going to need a holding company straight out the box. All right? And that parent company, as we'll call it, and that's what it is going to have the other company, and you're going to have assets, and you're going to make that an LLC. There's not going to be any personal names being attached to this when you're creating the LLC that you plan on making money from, and the other one above, parent company, is going to be a separate entity as well. All have their own EIN numbers. All have their own separate bank account numbers. And when you're drawing up, you're saying exactly this parent company is purchasing this company for X amount of dollars, if you want to say it, or X amount of shares, and X amount of company holds 5 million shares at a value of $5 million, $2 million, $10 million, whatever you want to do. But this is going to come back later on down the road when you're applying for business credit. They're going to go through your articles. Might look through that and say, okay, these guys are funded properly. It looks, you can put in whatever you want, but I'm just letting you know right now, that's what they're looking at sometimes when you're trying to get this $150,000, $200,000. So anyhow, just letting you know, we'll get back to the virtual offices, and you'll have your own personal, like I said, live receptionist answering the phone calls. And I have a phone call coming in now, so if you hear it in the background, the phone's too far away for me to get. So I just wanted to make this short and sweet, and I'm going to end this with a video from Opus Virtual Offices. And if there's anybody that wants to actually has a following, and they're actually set up in credit or wealth building or asset protection, and you want to join in on the virtual office program, just give me a call or email me at eric@stopstrugglingnow.com, and we can talk about that too, because I was talking with the owners of the company, and they kind of are good guys, and they're trying to find other people who may be in the wealth building, asset protection, LLC business to help them out with their virtual offices. They have a new one in Miami, by the way. They have them in Beverly Hills, California. And the other beauty of a virtual office is, let's just say you have a client who says, hey, I want to meet you at a location. A lot of people these days do business at Starbucks, do business at restaurants. You can say, meet me at the office, and you can go down there and use part of the office space, if that's what you want to do. So anyhow, this is short and sweet. I want to thank you for always the support, the love, watching of the videos. Please comment down below what you think about virtual offices, and if it's a good thing. I'm sure it's always one thing does not fit everybody, but for a lot of people this will help out and get you out of your house. And please like, subscribe, and click the bell below so you get the latest updates. And as we always go through it, anybody that's been looking for a car, anybody that's looking for any credit, I suggest you get a little bit of additional credit, not use it at all, that you can get while the getting is good, because there's a lot of companies offering credit. So with that said, keep your head up, keep moving, and I'm out.